could you tell me, what do you think in the world of matchmaking, if there's this one most important priority that they need to focus on, what would that be?
The 3 deal breakers: do they want to get married? Are you on the same page with marriage? Are you on the same page with children? Same timeline? And is religion compatible or spirituality compatible?
Welcome to another episode of Wild Truth. This is an episode that we're going to talk about love. What is more important in the world than love? All of us, everything we do on a daily basis is to find love. And in every area, I mean that. I mean that in our interpersonal relationship, of course, you want to find a lover and you want to love them and you want them to love you. And let's say with your work, you want your coworkers to like you. You want them to think you're wonderful, because if they think you're wonderful, then they'll love you and they'll give you that emotion of love, right? With your parents, with your family, with your siblings, you want to be loved. Love is the deepest point of acceptance and respect and acceptance. All of those end at the word love. Because when you love someone, you respect them, you accept them, and all the above. So that being said, I have a guest today that I'm very excited to just have a conversation with, chat, have fun. She is a personality and a professional that creates and brings opportunity of love. And it's exciting because all of us find this profession very intriguing. Like, as soon as you meet someone that does this job, your brain goes, what? I want to know more. So my guest today is a real deal, top-notch, well-known matchmaker. She's a celebrity matchmaker. She matchmakes some of the biggest ballers in all over the world, first of all, starting from Hollywood, some of the biggest names she has connected. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Alessandra Conti.
Oh my gosh, Max. Max, you are, can you follow me everywhere I go and just intro me? I feel as though also as you're speaking, and I noticed this when watching your comedy, I feel like you would be this like very charismatic cult leader. And I feel like you kind of are in a way, like you're building your empire. And I'm so here and I'm so excited to be chatting with you.
Thank you.
Hopefully like we'll bring the cult into like, it won't go like Manson, we'll go more, but anyway.
The love cult.
The love cult. Oh,
hey, I'm all for that. Look, first of all, I'm very flattered, but creating a cult, if it has to do with love, I'm all for it.
Right?
Every other cult in the world has become the biggest problem in the world.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
All these disasters are coming from this crazy, like culty shit, but
I know.
whatever you call it. But look,
no, this is a compliment. This is.
I know, right? The cult leader, Max Amini, takes it to the next level. So good to see you. So good to have you.
Thank you, Max.
I happened to meet you randomly through a friend.
Yeah.
And I should actually say this. I was not looking for a matchmaker.
Yes.
And this was not like a scenario where, I was like, oh my God, thank you. This is incredible. Let me also have a sit down with you. No, a friend of mine was doing a project, a broadcast project, and I met her and I thought, oh my God, we were chatting like casually and I thought, we need to record this conversation.
100%. Max, although I will say, I may or may not have already thought of like 3 different really incredible clients that I would love for you to meet, but this is a different conversation.
Oh my God.
Max all of a sudden is like on TMZ with like a big name. You'll know how. No, But anyway, I would love to matchmake you, but I understand exactly.
I appreciate it, but I don't want to destroy your career.
No, Max, thank you.
I will be like you matchmake me, and the disaster that comes out of that matchmaking, you lose your career. Like, this asshole comedian, this culty asshole destroyed my business. My reputation.
10 years of success and then brought down by one man. No.
And he happens to be a comedian by trade.
Oh my goodness.
This is great.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
look,
Yeah.
you've been doing this for how long?
So, I mean, my whole life, but professionally for 10 years. So
Okay.
professionally in LA, officially, well, in Beverly Hills beginning, and then LA, now New York, San Francisco, and DC.
Okay.
So I own a matchmaking company, Matchmakers in the City. I started with just myself and my sister, and we moved to LA, and we got an office in Beverly Hills after signing our first client. Go big or go home. And then from there, it just organically grew. Like in matchmaking, there's no secret to overnight success. No secret. The secret is make good matches, have them tell their friends, tell their friend, tell their friend, tell their brother and sister, and then 10 years later. So now I work alongside a team of matchmakers. So we're a team of matchmakers at Matchmakers in the City. I'm not the only matchmaker, but I will say, if it is a big name, I'm usually—
You step in.
I'm in.
The queen steps in.
The queen steps in.
I got this.
I got this.
I know how to do this.
I got it,
Okay.
ladies.
So in order to catch up with a bunch of information on you,
Yes.
can I go on a rapid fire, just quick answers just to get the basics, right?
I'm so here.
All right. I'm just, these are just like whatever thoughts in my head just to get all that out of the way.
Love
Are your
it.
parents together?
No, divorced.
How old were you when you got divorced?
Middle school.
Middle school.
Very young.
Did they find lovers after their marriage?
Yes.
Both of them?
Both
In a
married.
relationship?
Both. And I
Okay.
tried to set both of them up
Okay,
with
cool.
other people.
How long have you been working with your sister?
I mean, my whole life, but 10 years.
10 years
officially.
professionally.
Professionally.
Okay. Is she in a relationship?
She is married to a man I introduced her to.
Wow.
So good.
Does she have kids?
One child.
One child. So you're an auntie.
Little baby.
I love it. I love it.
That's all I need right now to be an auntie, is all.
Is this a very
Currently.
lucrative business?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
don't be shy away. We,
Yes.
you're a baller, you're a baller.
It is a very I utilize the fruits of my labor, but it's very lucrative financially, but also emotionally.
Yes.
Which is why I feel like I'm on this like really good. I just, when you're like, it's a great job. It's a great
Yeah.
career.
Are you the best in this game?
I mean,
It's a yes or no.
yes.
You're the best. Okay. We sitting
I'm
with
one
the
of the
best.
best.
We're
I'm
sitting
among
with
the
one of the
best.
best matchmakers in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And she's modest. I like that she just said, I'm one of the best.
I'm among. Yes,
Awesome.
100%. One
Awesome.
of them.
But you're a freaking expert.
Yes.
You really know that you know your shit.
There is no question.
Okay. You can change people's lives.
I do.
Whoa.
I do every day.
I like that, Sonia. I do.
I do, honey.
I love
do,
it.
and I make them say I do.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to keep going on these short ideas. When you were a young kid, between the age of 12 to 16, 12 to 18, were you the popular kid, or were you accepted? Were you social butterfly? What was your situation?
I was social butterfly. I was prom queen, bless. But I also had the best, I grew up with the nicest kids ever. I
Okay.
grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
Everyone's down to earth, right outside of New York City. And I just was always a social butterfly. I had so many friends from all the different groups.
Yeah, it's hard to also take that sentence serious. I grew
Yeah.
up with the nicest people in the world, but then everything we know from New Jersey is like Jersey Shore, Sopranos.
I know.
All these gangsters, and then I grew up with amazing people.
I mean, I genuinely say that because I do know the grade below us, they had sex tape scandals.
Ooh.
And the grade above us were nasty.
What age we're talking about?
Nasty. We're talking high school. So we're talking there was a lot of scandal back in the day where I went to high school. So I know that for whatever reason, I was blessed in this love, with good kids.
So that
We
your
had good
grade
kids.
happened to be a good circle.
We happened to be a great circle.
Well, I feel so
Yeah.
left out.
I'm so
I
sorry,
went to
Max.
the most boring high school. Sex tapes?
yeah.
Scandals?
So I knew how lucky I was in my grade. And I've always been a social butterfly, and I was never scared of the boys. You know what I mean? Like, I always loved the boys. Like, I had boy crazy cards. Do you remember boy crazy cards?
Yes, of
Oh
course.
my gosh, throwback. But we would play boy crazy cards. Like, I always have loved boys. And when like bar mitzvahs came about and the boys would be on one side, the girls would be on the other, me and my sister, we would be like, oh my gosh, Jeremy, come and meet Jessica. And we would just bring them together because they were, everyone's so nervous in that age. But for some reason, we never had like something just, we missed that.
Naturally, you had that confidence and comfort.
Totally.
So at a young age, you felt that way.
I was like, for whatever reason, I was plucked into a lovely group of kids. Just a lovely. There were a few bad apples here and there, but other than that, I mean, how could there not be?
You're very lucky.
I was so
This sounds so much fun, though.
So fun.
Dude, the high school I went to, the most adventurous, most crazy day was the day that I took Persian food to school. And all the white kids are like, why does this smell like shit? And I was like, my day of crazy in high school.
Wait, Max, that sounds really exciting for me personally. I mean,
we should have moved
I would probably get really excited.
We should have moved to New Jersey.
Move to New Jersey. You want some scandal in your life? Just come on over to New Jersey. I mean, I don't live in New Jersey anymore, but no, I mean, it's just such a different, like, East Coast, and you're from DC.
Yes.
Right? So it's just such a different, super down to earth. My sister and I would host. There was very little to do in the town that I'm from. Like, that's why I say bar mitzvahs, proms, dances. Like, that's what we did. We went to the mall as well. But as a true New Jersey girl would. But there was so little to do, so we would throw these theme parties. And so me and my sister, we would invite the all-boys school. So we had like a bunch of guy friends from Don Bosco, which was the all-boys school. It's like the all-boys Catholic high school. So we'd invite them, and then we had all of our like fabulous girlfriends that were just so over, the guys that we grew up with. So we would invite them. We had Victoria's Secret theme parties when we were like, again, 16, wearing corsets. What are you doing?
Oh, wow.
Like, what was going on? Our parents, I don't know.
Damn.
I mean, right?
New Jersey. Man.
New Jersey. It's the place to grow up. It's the place to grow up.
Shoot. I feel like we need to go back in time and freaking live life just to understand. Like, hold on. Victoria's Secret theme parties at age 16. And who was invited? The Catholic school segregated boys where had not even seen a girl for miles and days, and they'll just show up and they're all in their lingerie like I can't imagine how their brains were exploding.
They exploded all right.
Yeah, you guys were you guys were like the queens of your town.
We were the queens.
Straight up.
We were the queens of Mawa.
The dream of any boys in that like 10 miles vicinity of your neighborhood wanted to be at your parties.
100%.
I love it.
It was so much fun. And we would set these boys up with our girlfriends. And so we were responsible for so many like first romances, virginity losses, like prom dates. Like, we were responsible for those like first relationships. I remember one of my first like real matches that had legs was an ex-boyfriend of mine. And he was, oh my gosh, what a precious gem. Such a nice boy, also from the all-boys Catholic school. And he was such a nice boy, but it just wasn't there. So when I broke up with him, it was during AIM, Instant Messenger. And I remember it clicked. So when we feel a match, me and my sister, it's kind of cheesy, but we call it like the sparkle. Like, that sounds so cheesy saying it. Oh my gosh, it sounds so cheesy. But it's that's what we started calling it when we were really young. We're like, oh my gosh, it's the sparkle. Because it's like you feel this, like when we're making a match, like when it's a real match, we get this like full body, like whatever you want to call it, Holy Spirit. I call it the sparkle because, that resonates. But I got this feeling, this sparkle. I'm like, oh my gosh, I won't say their names, but, John would be amazing with Amy. And so on AIM, I wrote to John and I said, "Hey, John, like, so my sister's having her birthday party, again, another party. Why don't you come?" And I know that, what did I say?
Amy.
Amy. I said, "Oh, I know that Amy is going to be there as well." And you know what? And last time I saw Amy, she told me she thought you were really cute. She didn't tell me she thought he was really cute. Little fib. But
What did you tell Amy?
Amy, I said, "Amy, come to my sister's birthday party."
John has a big dick.
John, we had no idea what that even was.
Oh,
we
really?
were so innocent.
Damn.
We were so innocent.
Okay.
They did, though, go on to, consummate their relationship and be
So what would you
each
tell
other's
Amy
But anyway,
for her to go
told-
like, wow?
So I said, "Hey, Amy, like, come to my sister's birthday party. John's going to be there." And John told me he thought you were really pretty. So I just like planted the seed, and then the party happens, and I said, "Oh, John, have you met Amy?" And that, of course, da-da-da-da-da. But we would kind of do things
and a lot
that.
of great relationships came out of it.
So many.
Okay.
So many.
I need to like, you say so many things and I need to like go back.
Yeah,
I need
go
to
back.
get into this.
I'm ready.
First of all, I've never heard this proud sentence of like, we were responsible for so many virginity losses.
I'm going to hell.
No,
I'm going
look,
to hell.
I guess I want to dig in a little bit. Like, you guys were obviously excited, like such and such just hooked up. Like that girl lost her virginity. Like Amy lost her virginity to John after I set him up, right? Like that was like, oh shit, it was talk out of town. And of course, you called Amy and you go, "Give me the deets. How was he? What did he do? Like you got every information you want. You have that personality, like people will tell you anything." So, first of all, because look, we're doing like this heart-to-heart conversation. How old were you when you lost your virginity?
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Allie.
No.
How old were you?
No. I'm waiting until marriage. I'm not. I tried.
Yeah,
but
Jersey
I'm not.
love girl.
I'm not.
Are
I'm
you
not.
kidding me?
No, I mean the thing is, it was more, yes, the virginity loss thing was so fun. And like just, when you're young and you're like, but I think for us they became like boyfriend and girlfriend, because we don't say like, "Oh, sleep with each other, hook up." We're very old school. So it's like, okay, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you date for 2 years, back then. And then that's when it would happen. But obviously that's the first time that they're getting into relationships.
I know. But you're dodging it.
Yeah. Oh God,
Can
I thought
you
I was
not
doing it
say,
well. Oh
can
my
you
gosh.
not say how old were you?
I wasn't in high school. I was after
You
high
were
school.
older than high school?
I was older than high school.
Then why? Because look, obviously, I would. First of all, let me just say this: I don't think there's any right or wrong with this scenario.
Yeah.
I think this is a part of life journey, and depending on where you at, what culture you're from, what country you're being raised at, what influence you have around you. When you're that young and you're introduced to relationships and sexuality and all this stuff, this kind of stuff is not necessarily like in any shape or form a decision that somebody made this is what I. No, it just it's so innocent, and it's in such an era of like ambiguity that it's part of life experience. And so I just want to know, how old were you when you lost your virginity?
I'll tell you, you know what I will tell you? How old I was when I had my first kiss, because I was so young.
Fair enough.
I chased a young boy around the basement that I had the biggest crush on. And I chased him around the basement. I pinned him up against the wall and I kissed him. Bless his heart. I was maybe 7. I think I was 6 pushing 7. He then ran home crying.
Dude, you're an aggressive.
I'm so aggressive.
That poor fucking boy was like,
He had no idea. He had no idea. Poor thing. And, we were on the same block, and I just harbored this like longing crush for him. But yeah, that was I can tell you my first kiss. But we just have always had.
I love this.
Yeah.
You don't understand how much I love this. The fact that you share it the way you share, like that story says so much about you in a really amazing way. It's like you're that passionate. Like your entire being is about love and relationships and boys and
Yes.
kissing and now how blessed
Yeah.
you
Oh
are
my
to
gosh.
go into a career that it oozes like everything that is the essence of you. Like that job is like boom right here.
Max, it is literally the most natural, organic. I always say, like, bombs could be like around me in all other areas of my life. But I know that work, like, I know this is 150% exactly what I should be doing. I
Wow.
know. I know. And I completely thank you so much. We're so blessed. But I'm also a big believer that obviously success takes a lot of hard work, 100%. But I think that for us, it came so organically. Like every milestone, every step over 10 years professionally just was reached in such an organic way. It wasn't a forced thing. Like it wasn't like, oh, because when I was younger, I had visions of, I said, okay, I want to matchmakers in the city. I want them to be in every single city. I want there to be matchmakers in every single city. But then we realized that it's not easy to hire matchmakers. And like, because for us, it's so natural. So we were like, oh, like, obviously, this is the easiest thing in the world because our job,
Yeah.
it's not easy. Obviously, there's a lot of emotional ups and downs, especially with the LA set. Bless, please, like, say a prayer for my soul daily and all the matchmakers that we work with daily, because this is a tough, this is a, the LA people, they've really been through it, and they wear a mask. It's not just a mask, a COVID mask, but so many people in LA are so guarded. And the more successful they are, a lot of times, the more aggressive the mask is. So we've learned, okay, well, Toto, we're not in New Jersey anymore. So we had to learn how to really work with these people who have really good souls, especially the super successful ones. They're there and they're where they're at for a reason. And so, but meeting them, but also just being as authentic as we possibly can, so that they then feel like, oh, okay, I can be myself. I can be my authentic self. Because and sometimes people come in to work with matchmakers and they think like, oh, I have to act a certain way or like present myself in a certain way, but we can't match like that. Like
Yeah,
we
you got to
need
get to know who they are.
100%.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
all right, so let me dive into
Yes.
certain things that I think are very psychologically important. So, like, I truly believe that when a kid is born into a family, right, that baby has a life journey. That soul came into this world with a journey. I believe that. I believe in destiny. I believe that you are also in control of a lot of different things, but also I truly believe that people are destined to do certain things, right? And it has nothing to do with who the parents are. We've seen it through centuries where, let's say, parents were like some religious, political like advocates of a very specific, strong vision, and the kid goes the exact opposite way, becomes a hippie and goes into villages and saves people where the parents are like destroying the world, right? Like that soul came into this family, found its path, and executed, right? And a lot of parents will go, I don't understand this kid. Like, we're like this. Why is this kid doing that? Like, you hear this in many families, right? Even if they're like doctors and they're very educated type of people, and then they want their kids, and the kids were like, "Dude, I want to be a dancer," and they're like, "But your mom is a scientist, and I'm a sergeant, and you want to be a dancer?" Then I don't understand where this kid came from. Well, that kid's soul had a purpose, and a lot of things that I'm learning about parenting from my friends and books. I'm very fascinated about these topics. Is that you don't push a kid to be something that their soul and essence is not even about that, right? So that being said, I kind of set all this up to say, you were born into this family. There is an influence on the family side, whatever they think and who they are. And then here comes this soul, this young two sisters, and in this particular case, I'm sitting with you, like that has all of this natural fire and passion for relationships and matchmaking and boys and all this whole world, that to the point that you would chase a 7-year-old, corner him and say, I want to make out, I want to kiss you. I like you and I want to kiss. And a lot of 7-year-olds don't understand what's making out. Like, what is kissing? Like, so whatever that was for you, to me, that innocence of that age, that instinct, that fire is fascinating. To me, that's fascinating. And I want to know if you can, in particular, like, just tell me, like, the heart and soul of it. First and foremost, how much your parents are like you or have influenced you, the way you were raised, in the family you were raised, the environment you were raised in, the movies that you were allowed to see or not see, or how closed or open it was. Can you genuinely like open that up for me to see how some of that environment, first of all, affected you? And then the next level, we go into you're deep inside, like who you are as a soul and how that came together.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really funny because we grew up in a beautiful, lovely kind of storybook home with, a cul-de-sac where we'd run down to our girlfriends' houses and play Spice Girls and all of that. So we grew up in a very kind of suburban lifestyle. But then all of a sudden, our parents got a divorce.
How old were you?
And we were like, I was 7. So I was about 7, 8, maybe 8. A lot happened when I was 7. I think I was 8. It was like the year after. But the year after my first kiss. So when that happened, when our parents they started telling us that there were problems. So I then would sit with my mom and be like, Mommy, tell me everything. So I kind of became her therapist in a way, which is like, oh my goodness, like you're an 8-year-old, like giving, a grown woman, your mother, dating and relationship advice. I had no idea. I said, oh, Mommy, just, when daddy gets home, just, grab him, give him a kiss, give him a hug. Why don't you go on a date night? Like I would just say these things.
Wow.
It didn't end up working out. But myself and my sister, a divorce, it's so common, but it affects the kids so much. Even though it is such a common thing, it had a huge effect on us. So then once they got divorced, I think that that's when really the matchmaking element of things came in, because we saw our mom and she was so upset, even though, it was, for the divorce happened for many reasons, but she was so upset, and she would try online dating. So me and my sister hijacked her online dating profiles. And
oh my God.
yeah, so we were picking out these because there was a time frame when she was just dating so many different men, and they would come to the house, which is like not okay.
So
Yeah.
hold on here. Let's do a rapid fire really quick
Rapid
to catch
fire.
up on a few things.
Yes.
Your sister's younger than you.
No, she's 2 years older.
Older than
but she
you.
looks very young.
Okay. Was she
No
also
wrinkles.
a part of this therapy sessions? Was she also involved?
She was not involved. It was me.
You. Okay.
It was me.
Okay. So you were the kid that the parent, like at least your mom opened up. Did your dad open up to you at all?
Dad opened up to both of us.
At
Dad
that
opened
age?
up at that age
Okay.
to both of us.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
devastation.
You said that they sat you guys down to tell you guys there is a problem.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You guys never realized there was a problem?
We had no idea.
They didn't fight in front of you guys? They didn't yell at each other? They didn't throw shit? What kind of fucking Jersey did you grow
No,
up in?
I
In
know.
New Jersey, people punch each other.
I know. It was waspy, New Jersey. Waspy. Do you know that phrase?
Yes.
Yes, it was waspy, New Jersey. So it was always very under the surface, very
Yes.
passive aggressive. So we didn't know. We just thought, oh, okay.
So
like,
you
oh,
never
da-da-da-da.
really caught on the fact that they like having like fights and all that stuff.
We just didn't know. We just thought,
Okay.
here we are.
Okay.
And so when they did divorce. We then, like I said, went into matchmaker mode.
Okay, few more questions.
Yes.
The breakup, was it because mom or dad where they wanted to see other people? Was it the fact, was the problem like, man, I grew out of this relationship, I'm attracted to someone, was there a mistress? Was there a man that, none of that?
No.
So what do you think in one, like a few words, what was the problem between your parents? What was the seed of the problem, you think?
I think it could have easily been fixed. I think it was just when two people give up in a relationship, you know, that's what it is.
Okay, so let me give you an example in my life.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So you don't feel like I'm putting you on the spot. My parents got divorced when I was 12.
Yes.
And it's not like we did not know. Not only we knew, we lived the fire disaster on a daily basis. My parents fought since I remember I was born, okay? And we're Persian. We don't put it under the rug. Everything is over the Persian rug, okay? We are fighting and cussing and throwing shit. So when they decided to separate, I was very happy. As a 12-year-old, I'm like, thank God, they're gonna just go away.
Yeah,
one of you got to go. And on top of that, I 100% relate to you being the therapist because I was the oldest kid of the family. I was the oldest son, and I think back in the days in my era. Parents didn't have so much access to information that they have today, and I don't know if it's really healthy for parents to have their kids as their therapist because a lot of the things that they share about their partner, that partner happens to be your mom or your dad, right? So you grow up with a lot of emotions, towards your mom and dad that in a long term could affect you in a negative way. And you could hate or have certain anger issues towards a parent that you don't need to have. It was about their relationship, not the kid's relationship. So I relate to you in that sense. And I was very lucky that all of my drama growing up actually it turned out to be something that made me a more dynamic person. And I didn't break from it. I survived it and I became stronger from it. So I can tell you one thing now, since we're talking about you being a matchmaker, you would also make a great psychologist. So if you wanted to become like a relationship therapist, you would have been amazing. Now, I wanted to understand, so the seed of problem in my family, I'll tell you what it was. My dad could have done way better with his communication and his romance. There is a way to a woman's heart. And if my dad was more diplomatic in that sense, or more, I would say, romantic, because diplomatic is a tough word to digest in a relationship. But when you're romantic, is that you do things to make the other person emotionally loved. Yeah. And then if you have certain ideas or direction that you want to take the family, it's so much easier to have that communication within that sort of emotional feelings, right? People are more open to cooperate and listen to one another. My dad didn't have that element. He was this hard-headed, old school Persian guy that is like, this is what it is, this is right and this is wrong. And my mom was this very soft, gentle soul that could not deal with this type of aggression, right? The information was coming at her in a way that she couldn't filter it into the right scenario, right? So even if you give her gold, she doesn't know how to take the gold. These are my observation now, looking back at my family as a grown up. Yeah. So here's what I'm telling you. What was the seed of the problem between your mom and dad?
I mean, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing, Max.
Yes.
I really think it was, and upon reflection, they just kind of gave up. And there could have been a lot more. I think it's all about, okay, here's, a few issues. And I think also going back, the sweeping under the rug and the passive aggression, there hits a point you can't sweep it under the rug anymore. It's so high that it's all off and then it's done.
Yeah.
So that's really what happened. It was all under the rug and then whoosh and then poof. and it was just too much to handle. So that said, I am a big believer in therapy and in couples therapy. And I'm a big believer that if two people are dedicated to a relationship, that at least, and if you're married, really try everything to make it work if you're married. And then, worst case scenario, get a divorce.
Okay.
But I think back in the 90s, it was the divorce time. It was like, oh, something isn't working, or oh, all this stuff, divorce, not, oh, there's some issues. Let's go to therapy.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this. You didn't
Yes.
answer the question. For
Yes.
the record, you didn't answer the question.
I
So
feel
we'll
like
move
I
forward.
did.
So it's fine. Because I believe
Yeah.
these things are very personal.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to feel like I'm going to push you to get it. I want to see how comfortable you feel about certain things about your family to put out there. And the only reason I say this is because I feel like when I share things about my life that is so personal, people tend to really able to connect or take something out of it for their own traumas.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in this world, from the royal families to the poor of the poor, people in the worst areas in the world. No one grows up without trauma.
Yeah.
It's part of life. Like it's otherwise your life is the most blah. It doesn't make sense. You just hope that the traumas that you experience, you're able to overcome them through this journey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you this: parents got divorced, and mom was talking to you. I love to dive into your relationship with your dad. Also, see how like what kind of relationship you got, because a girl's relationship with their father is always an important part of their life, and nobody chooses that, but just whatever that is. It's always a wonderful thing to talk about. And the other thing is how open your parents are. You know how, like, in other words, how conservative is your family? Like, did you guys grow up in a conservative environment, or they were actually super open with you guys? Like, if there was a movie and there was a makeout scene, did they make you guys close your eyes, or they were like, oh, look, that's the best kissing scene ever? How are they?
My parents are definitely very conservative, but the media kind of watching of us watching, like, we could pretty much watch whatever we wanted, but there was always the, like, I grew up Catholic, and, like, with, we went to church every Sunday, and with those kind of, like, old school values that were kind of drilled in. So if something was inappropriate, it was almost like my mom didn't have to say anything. I would say something because I would be like, oh my gosh, this is an inappropriate scene, or it's an inappropriate movie or something. I remember going to a friend's house and we watched this, like, it wasn't porn, but it was definitely, like, not appropriate for a 13-year-old. And I remember just feeling so guilty, like, Catholic guilt. Oh, I I felt it. I felt it all. So I remember going home to my mom and being like, Mommy, I have to tell you something. I saw this movie and it was very inappropriate. So
Where did you see the movie?
it was at a friend's house. They were
Okay.
like, it was like the bad kids.
You and your girlfriend. Okay.
The bad, like, one of the boys that
Okay.
was kind of like the bad boy
What
in
was the movie?
town. I think like, it's coming to me.
Dirty Dancing?
Happiness. Oh my gosh, Dirty
Happiness.
Dancing. Happiness.
You sure it was happiness? or
HAPPYNESS or
happiness?
something like
It must
that.
have been penis.
Oh my gosh,
You
it
sure it
must-
was happy? Like, what kind of
I know.
happiness?
No, it was
Title.
bizarre. Maybe that's not the title. I feel like maybe
The title was penis.
maybe, yeah.
if it was borderline porn, it was not called happy. Oh, well, maybe it was happiness.
Yeah. But
What kind of happiness are we
actually,
talking
I know,
about?
right? I don't know. But yeah, so it was very much a self-regulated, like, we were never punished, right? Like, we were never sent,
Okay.
go to your room, da-da-da-da-da. It was more like the way that my parents parented was more like, my mom specifically was like, I don't know if you know Koala Lou, I Love You. It's this, like, little children's book that we grew up reading with this little koala. And, like, Koala Lou was, like, so bad and he did all these, like, crazy things. But the mom would always say, like, Koala Lou, I love you. Like, don't worry. So it was always the idea that I love you so much. Just be upfront and honest with me.
Mhm.
If you tell me, I won't be mad. The only time I'll be mad is if you don't tell me or if you lie to me. Then I will be mad, but we never were punished. That's the thing. It was an internal punishment.
Yeah.
So, and that worked. I mean, that worked for me and my sister. And we were, clean kids. Like, I was president of SAD, Students Against Destructive Decisions. Like, I did like Rebel, which was, vice president of Rebel. I was a good kid.
Good for
because
you.
it was self-regulated.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it wasn't like
I cannot relate to you at all. I cannot relate to you. Oh, I did something wrong, and my mom and dad said, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
No, we got beaten the shit out of us.
Oh my God.
I grew up in a Persian family where my mom would beat the crap out of us. And she wouldn't beat us hard, but she would beat us all the time. My dad hit me maybe 3 times in my life. He didn't do it. My dad wasn't like one of those Persian dads that would just, and again, this is a different era. In that era, this is what parenting was.
Yeah.
I just remember like dads bragging about how they disciplined him. I pulled the belt, and it was like a cool thing. Like I punish my kids with the belt, and they're so well behaved. And the other Persian guy goes, me, I put a sword. If my son talks back to me, I will tell him that I will shove this sword up his asshole. I will make my son bow in front of me. And like the last dad would be like, this is nothing. I have already killed 5 of my children. They disrespected me one time, I killed them. Like that's the era that I come from. So I can't relate to you not getting beat up at all.
I'm dead.
But my parents were I will say this, they were very soft in the sense where like it was an abusive scenario, but punishing in our family existed. And the modern world of today it's changed so much. Like hitting your kid is so taboo and beautiful. The beautiful thing is all over the world now, this has been taught, like everyone has learned that that's not how you discipline a kid. That's not the best case scenario. Anyways, I don't want to get distracted. You were 13 years old, you watched a dirty movie, and you were so wholesome and so nice. You just go to your mom, you go, Mommy, I share everything with my mom. I watched a dirty movie. So and mom's like, ooh, what did she say?
No, she said, thank you for
telling me. Okay.
Alessandra, the fact that you told me it's
already made it okay.
That's good. That's okay.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How old were you when you watched porn? Like when was the first experience watching porn?
Oh my goodness, Max.
How old were you? This is not a big deal. How old were you when you watched porn?
I mean, I don't remember that, but I do remember I was in a group in high school with 2 of my best girlfriends, Tiffany and Michelle. Tiffany had like bleach blonde hair.
She was such a slut.
Oh my God, Tiffany.
No,
oh my gosh. Like bleach blonde hair, wore this pink lip gloss that was like, Tiffany was known for her pink lip gloss.
Don't tell me she was the porn star.
She was, oh my God. I mean, her life took a different turn of like, now she has kids, so she's like very wholesome. But we had fun. Like we had fun. We would go to, the way that we had fun, we would go to teen clubs. Like we were not like drinking or doing drugs. We didn't. The first time I drank was when I was going, it was senior year.
Tell me how old were you when you watched porn?
I don't remember the first time, but I remember we went to Spencer's, which I don't know if you know what that is, but again, at the mall in New Jersey. And it's like kind of this weird, like, like Hot Topic type, which was cool back when I was like, oh my gosh, you're going into Hot Topic. So Spencer's, it had that kind of same cachet, and they had like little like sex toys. So Tiffany, so we're there, and Tiffany's like, Allie, I'm buying you a vibrator. And I was like, Tiffany, oh my goodness, a vibrator. I don't even know what to do with it. And Tiffany's like, this is what you do. And so she explains to me what to do. And so I said, okay, all right, girl, I'll buy it. That's fine. All right. And you know what? And that was freshman year of high school. So, but.
So you went from not even knowing what porn is to buying a vibrator.
I mean.
Are you kidding me?
Use of, no, it's a
It's a vague memory. You don't remember when you saw it, but you had seen porn.
I had seen it, but it
Okay,
was very
all
sheltered.
I'm trying to,
we
all
were
I want to
sheltered.
understand, when you watched porn, did you go to your mommy and say, "Mommy,
No. Oh
you
my
don't
gosh. I
understand what
think
happened
maybe
today.
the first time like
I watched
saw,
the category of 2 girls and 9 guys.
I think
and
college. Let's just put it out there.
I want to
Max,
rescue these girls.
Max, here's the answer to your question. College. That is the
College?
first
Really?
time. Yeah,
Okay.
college. 100%.
No. Wow, you're a late bloomer.
Very innocent.
You're a late
very
bloomer.
innocent. But I saw Sex in the City. So there were like Sex in the City. But what they did was we watched it on like TBS or Channel 11 where they would cut out the sex scenes. So we grew up watching Sex in the City. And it was only until I became older and I could rewatch everything that then I was like, oh my gosh, this episode. And then there's like, there's Carrie, living it up, physically with Mr. Big. So yeah, we did grow up we saw Sex in the City, but we didn't see any of the sex parts. So we knew, but we didn't know. So there was a lot of innocence there, there really was.
I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
You're a matchmaker.
Yes.
And when you matchmake, you have to relate and understand people deeply.
Yeah.
In order to be able to see who would be the best match. Is that a fair statement to say?
It's very fair, Max.
Okay. If you haven't lived a life of a lot of depth and experiences, how can you really deeply relate to someone? And let me tell you what I mean by that. I feel like a lot of people just don't openly speak. I feel like a lot of people don't understand what they go through is normal, but the society puts labels on things and taboos things to where we don't talk. So you don't need to talk about it because I feel like now I'm understanding you. You don't want to even talk about the first time you saw porn or how when you were lost your virginity or how it was.
Max.
But I say this. You got to have lived a life.
Oh, honey, don't worry.
Okay.
I lived a big life all through my 20s.
Just want to make sure.
We're talking about pre-20s, pre-freedom, pre-alley in LA. Like, you know what I mean? This is
what happened in in the alleys? No, I'm fucking with you. Okay.
No, but I mean, of course. Oh my goodness. The amount my dating history alone, is that's 17 hours of content. But we're talking like high school, like the way though, and that we were raised. It was very sheltered. And once, of course, when you're in your 20s, like I say, I'm a big believer that 20s are for dating. 20s are for, if you want to do it, the Samantha Jones phase, which is like, experiencing all different types of guys and really dating a lot. I think the more that for a woman and for a man, but the more that you can really just experience different people, different personalities, different walks of life, different ages of men. I dated a 42-year-old when I was like 26, so that is amazing. Like those are great experiences.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dating like, the Saudi, I had a prince phase where I would only date the Saudi princes. And you know what? That was a great time in my life. Would I marry the Saudis? I mean, I love to my, the Saudis, but I mean, no, I dated a Libyan dictator's son who proposed and wanted me to move to his compound in Libya, but it was Arab Spring, so Gaddafi was overthrown, and here I am with this guy, and he's a militant, and he was a terrorist. He's on the no-fly list.
And that was your boyfriend.
That was my boyfriend. And I was watching him protesting in Trafalgar Square in London. I'm like, oh my goodness. I was sitting on his bed. He had Versace sheets. I'm like, all right, here we are.
Terrorist
here we are.
Versace sheets.
Terrorist Versace sheets. One and the same. So, Max, I've lived. We're talking, though, about
dude, I love it.
High school.
I love it.
I want this side. School,
I like this alley.
But I didn't live in high school.
So you've dated many different types of people.
All different types.
Can I say that you come across as a very curious person?
So
you have to
curious.
experience a lot of things, right?
Yes.
And so beautiful. Now I can understand why you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
Because you have spent time to understand different type of people deeper than maybe many other people will ever get a chance to do so. So when somebody says this and that is the guy, and then you go, honey, I know exactly what that is, and I don't think I can give you a high stipulation here that you're on the wrong direction, for example, or or tried the X, Y, and Z. So you've dated many different walks of life, and now can you tell me what's your type? Now what's your type? Like if
Yes.
you had to break down the qualities, what is it?
Yeah. I think the older I get, the more I learn that it's so not a type, but it's an energy of I love a powerful man, and I love a powerful man for myself, but also I love working with, like, we work with a lot of very powerful men in matchmaking. So it's this energy of the light is on. The light
Okay.
is on.
Okay.
There are no limits. It's about, like, they're excited. They're passionate. That is, if you wanna talk type, I could care less. I tell the men and women that, but the women specifically, like, be open to a little bit older. If you want that, be open. Don't limit yourself. I always say, like, "Oh, you care about a guy's height?" No. Like, care about what is their energy? I love also a masculinity. I think that I think that for a lot of women who are, successful in their careers, that during the day, a lot of women have to kind of tap into a bit of their masculine energy.
Mhm.
And so I know that the women that we work with, at the end of the day, when they're dating in their dating life, they seek a man who has kind of more obvious masculine
Mm.
energy. And they're hard to come by, because they are harder to come by, that kind of masculine energy.
So
Um,
does size matter?
so size, oh my God, no. Oh my goodness.
No?
No, Max. Oh my
If
goodness.
size
No,
doesn't
it's,
matter,
oh my
then
goodness.
that's a huge other conversation. I mean, and no pun intended by the word huge. Just saying, like that's a big topic to discuss. But you're saying that masculinity is something that it's something on your list, and power is something that you find attractive.
Mhm.
What other qualities in a man that's for you?
Yeah. Max, I actually wanna talk about, I know you'll probably like this, but I wanna talk about porn for a second
Oh,
because
now
because
now we're gonna
I'm
talk
ready.
about
I'm
porn.
ready to talk about
We go
porn.
in the okay,
No.
power, masculinity. You know what? I
Let's
changed my
talk about
mind.
porn.
Let me talk
No,
about
I wanna
porn.
talk
Let's
about
go.
porn for a second because I think that it helps to explain, and I recently had a conversation with a dear guy friend of mine about porn, and he's very against porn. He's comes from a very, like, religious background where it is no, 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 and he just is very, very opposed to it, and my viewpoint on it is that there are levels, right? But the experience of porn is just like the experience of dating almost for women. Because for men watch porn, men are lusting after the woman in the porn. Like, they're like, "Oh, she's so hot. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, she's so hot. She's so hot. Oh, look at that. Wow. Look at her body. Look at the way she moves. Oh my God." It's all about the woman. For women, if a woman is experiencing porn or even going to, like, when you go to a strip club for a bachelorette party, which I've been to like a billion bachelorette parties, it's not about the guy. To women, when women view porn or when women are at a bachelorette party and watching these men dancing on the stage, it's not about the guys. To the women, the guys are disgusting. Truly. Like, it's disgusting, but it's about the story. So for a, like, at when you're at a little, like, Hollywood men, which is like everything, by the way, Hollywood men, what do? they do vignettes they do stories. So they have one of the guys come out, and the guy's like naughty. I mean, they're attractive. They have whatever. They're attractive. Well, but would a woman ever like? Women are not lusting after. Oh my gosh, he's so no. He's coming in. He's a fireman. He's got his, and they're doing a vignette, they're doing a story, or like there's a 50 Shades of Grey story that they do. So I think that explains just a woman's experience. And even when you're like, oh, when was the first time you watched porn? Like, it's not like, oh my God, women are watch porn and they're like, oh, he's so hot. No, 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 no. It's more women are thinking the storyline. So like if something doesn't have a storyline, I'm not interested. If it's teacher student, oh my goodness, like yes. I mean, obviously that's like, I'm sorry, but
Okay, for the record, I
but
asked you that
yeah,
question because you
yeah.
said to me, you went to your mom and you said, Mom, I did something wrong. I watched this bad movie. And I wanted to see, did you go to your mom and talk about, that's why I asked.
Okay. Yeah.
And by the way,
Yeah.
let me tell you my point of view of about porn.
Yeah.
I don't watch porn.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this because I either conservative or I think is bad. I don't watch it because I have a different perspective about it. I'm not saying this to sound like a goody two shoes at all. The reason I don't watch porn is because I realized porn makes a false picture in your head, and it takes away from the experience that you have in real life.
Yes.
So it dilutes the reality, and it gives you this picture of like, this is sex. So then when you have sex in real life with your partner, it's boring all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So that's my genuine philosophy. I'm not a kind of person that judges anything.
Yeah. No, of
I'm
course.
so
Yeah.
intrigued by how people experience things in their life, and how their psyche has shaped and has been affected by different things, and therefore what decisions they're making today and how they're helping themselves or others with it.
Yeah.
That's really my entire philosophy.
100%. Absolutely. No, I just wanted to talk about that just because I had that realization the other day of like, it's about the story
Yeah,
for
it
women.
is.
It's not about the guy.
And it's true.
Women could care less,
Absolutely.
And that's why size, going back to that, for women don't care. Like, I mean, as long as, there's something to work with, it's okay.
You went like this, as long as you went like that. Like,
as long as, there's something to work with.
This is the okay size?
As long as there's something to work with, okay? No, I mean, but it's about kind of going back to that idea of masculinity, of, and especially in today's society, even saying the words masculine and feminine, it's like, oh my goodness, like, no, it's a heteronormative paradigm and da 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 da. I've been a matchmaker for 10 years. Men think and act in a certain way. Women generally think and act in a certain way. Women have estrogen. Men have testosterone. They're biologically different. And I think it does people such a disservice when we try to blend these lines of and I'm not against LGBTQ community, like amazing. I love it. But generally speaking, it's just so hard for me because I'm like, no, you guys, like, if we negate the idea that a woman experiences things very differently than the way a man experiences things, everyone's going to be very confused, more confused than they already are. And if a man can't understand, oh, I'm experiencing this because I have testosterone, therefore I'm having these kind of reactions to things. And women, on the other hand, are experiencing estrogen and progesterone, and they have a cycle, and they experience a cycle, and they're going to be more emotional on some days. Like, if we negate that, it does everybody a disservice. So that's something that I just see in matchmaking every day, and men experience it so differently than women. Like, they just, the gender for me, what I've experienced, it's real. It's a very, it shows up in dating all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can you break down this size philosophy? Like, what is it? Like you're saying it doesn't really matter as long as it's not a Jurassic situation. But like how is it that women don't care? Because I hear a lot of women care. So it's okay. Can you just break it down? Like how do you see that?
I mean, my
Is this have anything to
view.
do with the vibrator that you got when you were 16 and like
You guys,
women
I'm
just
having a
women
flashback.
women women can like have a great guy who
I'm
matches in
just
every
kidding.
shape or form. He doesn't have a great penis, but there's a vibrator
It's
and life goes on.
But it's not about a penis. Like when women receive dick pics, nothing happens. It doesn't matter if it's an arm. It
Sure.
doesn't happen. Women don't care. Like if it's literally a third arm, it's like, ew, like what are you doing? And I'm not saying that, that's whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the way that a man, like, expresses himself when he's with a woman. That's what it's all about. It's not the size of the wave, it's emotion in the ocean, but it's not even it's how a man shows up when he's pursuing a woman, when he is, being intimate with a woman. It's the way that he is whatever he's working with, he's gonna make you feel whatever that is. I mean, like I said, poor guys with the micro situation, that's really rough, and bless them. I'm sure you can get some kind of, there must be an implant if you have like that situation. Not you. I mean, just, people
What the
listening.
fuck?
Like a micro
I
penis.
it's like thank you.
But like, I know this. I mean, this is how women operate.
Oh my God, you made me actually think of something.
Yeah.
Could you look at a guy and do you think you have a good guess if he's got a big penis or not?
Oh my gosh, Max,
Do you have that skill?
Max, this is not something that women think about.
No, no, no.
And that
Yes,
I
they
think about.
do.
I don't think
I
about
read an
this.
article. They said women when
Who
they
wrote the
meet,
article?
it was in some magazine.
Was it a woman?
Yes, of course. They said they did a survey,
Yeah.
and when a man and a woman meet, the girl within the first 5 seconds already crosses her mind if this guy like
BS.
what size.
BS. Be freaking S. Not real. Fake news. Fake news. Truly fake news. Women don't think like that. Women
Okay.
just don't think like that. They just don't. It crosses the mind. If you're dating a guy and you're like, oh God, Lord, he's a great guy. Wow, look at all he's pursuing me. He's wonderful, oh, and then, oh God, like I hope we have something to work with here. It's something women think about throughout, maybe a date if you're like, oh, I really like this guy. Like, oh gosh, like I hope, you hope that there's something to work with
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it's not this initial like, oh, I survey. No, it's like, yeah, women just aren't thinking like that. Women's brains
Amazing.
most of the time.
So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the business of matchmaking.
Yes, let's do
This
it.
would be
Oh,
kind of fun, right?
something I can actually talk about
No,
without like getting flustered.
dude, you're doing amazing. And I just want to tell you this. When it comes to the business of matchmaking, yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
I want to tell you the things that comes to my head right
Yes.
away, and you can address these. First and foremost, I think for men and women, when they see an exclusive matchmaking company, agency, yeah, um, it's a little like a car dealership vibe. Like you don't there's a little bit of a shadiness in trusting these businesses, right? So in the since you've achieved a reputation and you were able to actually become a matchmaker that people trust and they come to you and they know you because they trust you that something valuable is going to come out of the services. I want to understand because you obviously have competitions and you study other businesses, etc. Tell me how does that world works in
No,
that sense?
that is such a good question, Max. Honestly, having done this for 10 years, there are very few legitimate matchmaking companies. You do have to be really careful. You really do.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. I think that there are dating services that claim to be matchmaking companies, personal matchmaking companies. They charge an insane amount. and it's not authentic. Like I completely, there are very bad matchmaking companies, quote unquote. We in the industry, we call them like the actual authentic matchmakers. We call them dating services.
Mm.
So they're not matchmakers. They're not matchmaking companies. If your company basically has, a 1,000 matchmakers who basically are 21-year-olds fresh out of college with zero matchmaking experience, and they're constantly cycling in and out, and they don't even work. Oh, they've just started working here a month ago, and oh, now there's another one, and da-da-da. That's not matchmaking. That's
Yeah.
not a matchmaking
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
So they're not respected in our industry. The matchmaking industry is a very tight-knit industry. There are a few really key players in it that we all know and we all respect. And I'll name a few. Maria Avogatas in New York City, Lisa Clampett in New York City as well. Amazing. Everything. Bonnie Winston, celebrity matchmaker. We talk all the time. Obviously, Alessandra Conti, me, matchmakers in the city, all of our matchmakers. We have 8 matchmakers. And all the ladies are incredible. Liat, Dahlia, Katie, like all our girls. But honestly, like those are the key. There are a few key players that we respect in the industry. There's a matchmaking institute, which you get certified through. So
Hmm.
there's a certification protocol. You could, if
Oh,
you're
wow.
stripped of your certification, it's like you're horrible. So you have to be certified. Executive certified is like the top. But we go to conferences. Like I go to the Matchmaking Institute conference almost every year. Oh, so many matchmakers come in to the industry, barely last a year, maybe 2, go out very quickly. So it is something that you have to be very vigilant. You have to do your research.
So what makes these women that you just named, what element makes them a phenomenal matchmaker?
Personality,
Okay.
track record. Track record number 1. Track record. If you're a bad matchmaker, you can't hide. People are insane. Literally Google a company and plus reviews. You can't hide from that. We praise B. We over the
Wow.
years
I
have
like
had
this.
very
I like
minimal
this. So
negative
you
reviews.
put a lot of time into this so you can actually be successful out of the match you made. So a lot of good positive reviews and feedback comes out of it.
100%.
Okay. Okay. I
100%.
like that.
The matchmakers also, they've been in the industry. I mean, us 10 years that's nothing to cough at in the
Mhm.
matchmaking
Mhm.
industry. That's a huge deal because most
Amazing.
people, Maria over in New York, I remember when we first started, another young matchmaker had said to me, "Oh my gosh, Maria told me like, don't even talk to me unless you've been in the industry for 3 years. You're not a matchmaker unless you've been in it for 3 years."
So what's the certification process? Is there like a place you go and you get educated on this?
Yeah. So with the Matchmaking Institute, owned by Lisa Clampett.
Mhm.
So Lisa Clampett is like this fabulous matchmaker in New York City.
Okay.
Love her.
Okay.
She then like it's Matchmaking Institute. She owns the company, but now it's like a big company. You like go to the conference. There are different courses that you take, and then you get certified from there. So it's a process, but it's great because it also, there is a code of ethics that if you're a matchmaker, you have to have ethics. Like you have to have a code that you're following. And like our company, we did it before we were certified. We started and then we got our certification like 2 years after because we know nothing about the
Awesome.
industry. Yeah,
Awesome.
we had no
I want to
idea.
tell you there's another group that actually I'm very familiar with. They do the certification if you're interested in getting a certification from.
Who?
It's called the Persian Grandmas. They are the
Sorry,
queen
they're the queens.
matchmakers.
They're the queens.
Yes,
They are the queens.
they
A
will
100.
give you a certification.
That's the thing though. Like the thing, it's like it's a very special, like I said, you can't just, "Oh, I
It's an
wanna be a
expertise.
matchmaker."
Yeah.
No, and all of us study. I mean, I every day am studying, researching relationships, attachment theory, like avoidant attachment, anxious attachment, secure attachment, love languages, any notion, any idea, any book, I've either read it or listened to it on my way to work and or on my commute home. So like we're constantly this is what we do and we're constantly growing. Also, access and, like the fact that we were so lucky coming into LA, coming into Beverly Hills. And like one of my girlfriends was in PR. So we just happened to, meet her by the pool, relaxing, like at the villas, which is where we had watched the hills growing up. That's the only thing we knew about LA. We knew nothing else. We saw the hills and we were like, we are moving to LA. And so we lived at the villas, which is where Lauren Conrad lived the first season of The Hills. Plus. So we met a girlfriend who then would invite us to all of these events because she was in PR and she was like, oh, yeah, just come. This is great. So that's where every night of the week, when we were so young, we were just out every night of the week meeting people, just so brazen. Like, hi, yeah, I'm a matchmaker. Nice to meet you. And it was like, it didn't matter how big of a celebrity it was. The second I said, I'm a matchmaker, it was like, oh, this like super magic wand because they're so used to like, oh yeah, I'm a blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm a matchmaker. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like, let me tell you, like, I'm just getting off of a divorce or a breakup or, okay, what's it gonna. So people just,
Nice.
so yeah,
Really nice.
but definitely the access element being just your network,
Yes.
you know?
So I guess first of all, I feel like there's so much to talk about,
Yeah.
and we kind of touched on a few things. But in order to leave this chat on a something um, meaningful, could you tell me what do you think in the world of matchmaking, men or women, they need to have if there's this one most important priority that they need to focus on? What would that be, in
Mhm.
your opinion?
3 elements
Okay, 3 is
have
good.
to be there.
Okay,
Deal breakers. People come in,
okay.
"It's a deal breaker, he needs a" BS. The 3 deal breakers, do they wanna get married? Are you on the same page with marriage? Are you on the same page with children? Same timeline? And is religion compatible or spirituality compatible? Over 10 years, if one of those elements is missing, it doesn't matter how incredible the connection is, it's not gonna go the distance.
Mm,
Those are the 3 deal breakers. Everything else are priorities. So, like, even what I like, hey, I do like masculine, but guess what? If I meet the most powerful masculine guy, but he's like, "Oh, I don't wanna have kids," or, whatever, maybe 10 years. No! Not a match. So it doesn't matter. Like connection is beautiful, but you can connect with people that are not necessarily your match. So it's those 3 elements and then that intangible connection. But as a matchmaker, it's amazing because I mean, we know when just 2 people are on that same
mm.
wavelength and their minds work in a similar way. And that's something that minds working in a similar way, it's like something you can't write down. It's something you have to experience. So
Got
that's
it.
why working with a matchmaker makes so much sense because you can't just look at a profile. That's not what we do. We
Yeah,
meet everyone. We interview
yeah.
everyone. We have to get into their brains. We have to understand the way that they're thinking.
So the 3 elements that you mentioned, boob
Yes.
job is not one of them. I
Not one of
just
them.
thought it might
Not one of them. We did have a client that
land on
said
number
we
3 and
had well, a client we didn't work with, and I did his meeting. Lord help us. And he came in and he was like, "I only will date women if they've had breast augmentation."
wow.
And I said, "Oh," and you know me, like I'm so bashful, like I just am. That's like a personality trait. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, oh, breasts." And I said, "Okay." I said, I'm probably the worst person that you got for the meeting. We're a wholesome company, And I said, "Listen, why don't you meet a great girl? You can always buy her. Bid her some boobs. If that's a deal breaker, like, are you kidding me?" Because then he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, but the girls that I meet that have breast augmentation, they're so vapid and I can't get, deep." I'm like, "Then okay, meet it, find the connection, and then, you have that
But
discussion."
the opposite scenario would be, girls that would come to you and say, "I will only date a rich man."
Yeah.
That's the same thing, right?
Well,
But that's
yeah.
okay.
No, 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 no. Listen. It's not about if a girl comes in and she says, "I'll only date a wealthy man," then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die." But if they come in saying, "Listen," and this is how I present it when I'm talking to women, you need like for men, if their career isn't at a place where they're good and they're confident, they're excited about it, if it's not
Mhm,
in this stable place,
mhm.
they can't even start to think about seriously a relationship. It's just men, they have to build that foundation. Men are like homes. And a lot of men in LA, they're like, they're building a mansion, But if that foundation isn't set, and foundation for them is career, because
Mhm.
men are very linked, for better or for worse, men are very linked to career
Yeah, providers.
providers.
Yep.
So if they're not there, they'll dabble, say a guy, he's doing this, doing whatever, not really. They'll dabble, in creating that upstairs, they'll go up, but they still have to go back down. So that's the career.
Yeah. So in
Yeah.
short, get a job.
Get a job, and you don't have to be a bajillionaire because the billionaires, I mean, that's a totally other
Yeah.
ball game. That's a whole other slew of talk about trauma and I mean, oh my gosh, sometimes the billionaires are we've match made 3 billionaires so far, one of which is engaged. The other one is in a happy relationship. The other one
Disaster. Needs a reality show.
The other one, I hired a therapist after working with him. But he's in a relationship now and he did a lot of like self-work, but he's
Look,
quite well
this
known. But
conversation is so great. I feel like we should sit down again, Allie,
yeah,
and dig even deeper. I had an amazing time with you. Really.
Max,
This was fun.
it's been a pleasure. And, I love you are just so free and open and like so like naughty, And I'm so not naughty. Like I'm not a naughty girl. But I value it so much. And it's like I just love it. Like I love
Thank you.
how you're so free. It's something
Thank
that
you.
I aspire to be. So
Hey.
maybe one day I'll be as free as
We'll work
Max.
on it on Wild Truth Podcast. I am free. I'm extra free on the podcast. I feel like we come here to really be as transparent as we can.
Yeah.
And thank you for everything you shared, really.
Thank you, Max.
Tell us where we can find you.
Oh, absolutely. After, the porn talk. Oh God, Lord help us.
I'm on Pornhub, but
I'm on
www.
Pornhub. I'm on OnlyFans.
Ali Conti.
No, honestly, just go to matchmakersinthecity.com if you're interested in working with matchmakers in the city. And you can follow me at matchmaker Alessandra Conti. Alessandra Conti. It's a long one, but you just type in matchmaker and then I'll pop right up. Smiling gal. But yeah, matchmakersinthecity.com. We'll get
Amazing.
you where you need to
Amazing.
be.
Amazing. Thanks for listening to our podcast. I try to find very interesting topics and ideas we can dig deep and we can learn about. Obviously, you can find me on my social medias. Instagram is Max Comedian. My website is maxamini.com and all the goodness. I love you guys. And thank you for all the comments and all the 5 stars and everything you're doing to support our program. Much love.